We shared a life, woven from small, sacred routines. Our dog yipped at the mail carrier with the ferocity of firecrackers. Our mortgage was a heavy chain tightening slowly. The coffee maker wheezed with every brew, like it was catching its breath. 7 summers ago, we met at a friend's barbecue, where she was the spark that lit up the crowd. Her name was Lena, and she had this way of tilting her head when she listened, like a curious sparrow. That tilt stole my heart before anything else. We fell fast, our love a swift current, but our fights were rare and measured. Friends came to us for tips on cheap flights, budgeting tricks, or the best vacuum for pet hair. We had playlists for lazy Sunday mornings, for long drives, for cleaning days when we'd twirl with the vacuum in hand. It was the kind of everyday enchantment you only notice when it begins to fade. The fading crept in quietly, in ways you could dismiss at first. Her phone started resting face down on the table. She lingered longer after work drinks with her team. She began listening to podcasts that tossed around terms like compersion, pausing to share stories of couples who opened their relationships and thrived. I nodded, because nodding felt like the simplest way to seem supportive. One evening, she asked lightly, "Do you ever think monogamy is just a narrative we've bought into?" I chuckled, brushing it off. She didn't laugh. I turned her question into a jest, hoping the bridge I built wouldn't have to bear any weight. The night it collapsed wasn't marked by a fight. That's what haunts you later. No plates were smashed, no doors slammed. She cooked pasta, and I grated too much Parmesan, dusting the stove like fresh snow. She brushed it away with a flick of her wrist and said, "I need to tell you something, and I need you to really hear me." I said, "I'm all ears," expecting a conversation about her work or my mom's endless stream of meme texts. She took a deep breath and said, "I'm going to be with other men. I've wanted this for a long time, and I'm done ignoring it. I love you, and I don't want us to end, but this is happening." My body reacted before my mind could catch up, a fire alarm blaring in my chest with no exits in sight. From somewhere distant, I heard myself ask, "What does this mean for us?" She replied, "We stay together. We set new boundaries. People do this all the time. We'll be open with each other." She reached for my hand across the counter, but I pulled back instinctively, before I even knew why. "You can do it too," she added, and the kindness in her words stung like frost on chapped skin. "Here's what I discovered. You can burn with rage and feel utterly helpless at once. You can know exactly what you want and still feel spineless." I climbed the stairs, the dog trailing behind, its claws clicking nervously on the hardwood. I sank onto the bed's edge, staring at the impression my weight left on the mattress, trying to force it all to make sense. I pictured loving her while knowing she was out with other men, but my thoughts stuttered like a needle stuck on a scratched record. I remembered our vows, her hand trembling as she spoke. "As long as we both shall live." Not from fear but from certainty. That was the voice of my life's first half. The second half countered with icy clarity. She wasn't asking, she was declaring. When I returned downstairs, my mind grasped for something concrete. "When?" I asked. She said, "I've met someone. We haven't crossed any lines yet, but I will soon." I let out a sharp, bitter laugh, because lines buzzed around the kitchen like a fly trapped against a window. "What if I say no?" I asked. Her eyes softened, the way you'd look at a child begging to skip bedtime. "I'm not asking for permission," she said. "This is who I am now. I hope you'll choose to stay." That night, I drove aimlessly, because movement felt better than stillness. I pulled into a gas station, the pump clicking steadily as I sat in the car. A man bought cigarettes and scratched a lottery ticket on his car's hood. A woman in scrubs yawned into her sleeve. The world spun on, indifferent to the fact that my wife had just set fire to our vows. That's the brutal truth about the world. It keeps moving, with or without your agreement. I called my brother, and he answered on the third ring. When I told him, he cursed softly and said, "Come over." I didn't. I wasn't ready to voice this out loud. I drove back to our house, to the fridge's hum and the woman I loved, who had stepped through a door I couldn't follow.